This is Agent 748070 reviewing item number SCP-2767. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2767 in its tins is to be kept within a storage locker at Site-15. SCP-2767 is not to be painted onto the walls of a room which has been struck through, so now it would say onto the walls of any number of rooms simultaneously without permission of the SCP-2767 Head of Research. Any wall treated with SCP-2767 must be cleared completely within 48 hours of application. Description: SCP-2767 is... oh, excuse me. Sorry, SCP-2767 is an unbranded type of Prussian blue paint contained across 12, which the 12 is struck through, 8 unlabeled 1-liter tins. The tins which contain the paint display no anomalous properties, and as such, the quantity of paint is finite, and any paint produced by color matching to SCP-2767 is non-anomalous. When a subject is placed within a room painted with SCP-2767, they begin experiencing feelings of claustrophobia, specifically that of the walls being extremely close. This effect occurs regardless of the actual distance between the subject and the walls. During testing, subjects are still able to converse and describe their feelings. However, they are physically incapable of moving from what they perceive as being a tightly enclosed space. The dimensions of this space are invariably, which has been struck through, see Incident Report 2767A, in almost all cases equal to their arm span, taken from the point where the effect initially manifests. The anomalous effects of SCP-2767 manifest... I'm sorry. I'm a little under the weather. I knocked the file onto the floor, so I need to... I don't know why these are even in analog format. Isn't everything digital around here? I just... Okay, sorry. Hold on. I was, experiencing feelings of No, okay, sorry. The anomalous effects of SCP-2767 manifest from between 20 minutes to 6 hours after the subject has entered the room. At this point, subjects perceive the walls as shrinking to the aforementioned dimensions instantly. In 90% of the cases, subjects with moderate to severe diagnosed claustrophobia experience effects within the first hour. 80% of subjects with moderate to severe agoraphobia, however, take from 3 to 6 hours to be affected. If psychological profiling indicates neither claustrophobia nor agoraphobia, the effects will initiate at any point between the aforementioned bounds. The effect is not present when more than one person is in the enclosed room. SCP-2767 Testing Logs. All tests conducted with 4-walled testing chambers. Test 2767-1-16. Subject D-27671. Procedure: D-Class without prior psychological testing. Door closed. Results: 2 hours, 21 minutes in, subject began to frantically attempt to move from within an invisible confined space. Subject expressed distress and stated that the walls are too close multiple times. Subject was freed upon the door to the test chamber opening. Notes: effects of paint appear to be both psychological and physical. as subject was otherwise mentally stable before the effects began. Creation of exit seems to cancel the effect. Test 2767-2-16. Subject D2767-2. Procedure. D class with psychologically evaluated high-level claustrophobia. Door closed. Results. 45 minutes in, subject shows signs of distress and started beating against an invisible barrier at arm's length. Subject attempted to calm down, but 10 minutes later broke into hysterical crying. Upon door opening, subject broke free of the invisible enclosure and collapsed. Subject taken away for psychological assessment. Notes. Following assessment suggests new increase in claustrophobic tendencies, with subject purposefully avoiding walls painted blue. Effects wore off within a week. Test 2767-3-16. Subject D27673. Procedure. D class with no assessed psychological claustrophobia or agoraphobia. Door open with security personnel positioned outside the entrance. Results. 8 hours in with no effects. Subject... Excuse me. Sorry, I took some medicine a while ago, and it should be working soon. I hope. Okay. Subject escorted from room without incident. Notes. Physical exit point appears to prevent the anomalous properties of 2XX from materializing. Test 27676. I guess the report has left out some of the tests. We had 1, 2, and 3, and now we've jumped. So yes, test 2767-6-16. Subject D27674. So it's the very next test subject, but it still seems like there were some tests in between that aren't in the file. Procedure. D class with psychologically assessed severe agoraphobia. Door closed. Results. Subject displayed extreme discomfort upon door closing, sticking to corners of the room nearest the entrance. Precisely 6 hours after the door closed, subject became highly distressed, wept whilst shouted profanities, and voluntarily beat against an invisible confinement space for 20 minutes until the door to the testing chamber was opened. Notes. The subject was found to be bruised in areas where they had attempted to beat against the invisible barrier. Subject has since refused to enter the open-air recreation facilities, complaining that the sky is too close. Test 2767-14-16. Subject D2767-14. So now the test number and the subject number match again. This whole test has been redacted from my copy, but I do have an incident report 2767A. In an effort to speed up testing, multiple rooms were painted with SCP-2767. Normally, these rooms are stripped of paint after each subsequent test. However, on 16-15, testing room 8 was painted before testing room 7 was stripped. This was unknown to researchers who attempted to continue tests on D-class personnel. Test 14-1615. Subject D2767-14. So the same subject from the redacted test above. Procedure. D-class evaluated as having no spatial phobias. Subject is placed at the center of testing chamber 8. Body camera is attached subject's person in order to gain an interior perspective of the SCP-2767 phenomenon. Yeah, we were missing an article there, the sentence, but I guess that's not that big a deal. Result. Immediately upon the door closing, the subject froze in place and stood straight, arms to their side and facing directly forwards. Despite no visible motion from the subject, the camera and in-room microphones continued to record the subject. From the attached camera, the subject appeared to be able to move within an enclosed space, now only slightly wider than their shoulder width. The footage proceeded as follows. Subject quickly turns from left to right, their hands pressing against the walls. Heavy, panicked breathing can be heard. D276714. And now we're going to have what I guess the subject was saying. Not sure if you... Sorry. That was just me, not the subject. Going back a second, not sure if you guys are getting this, but the walls are kind of close to me all of a sudden. I can barely move it here. Looks like I can still turn just about okay though. Wait, there looks like a passage to my right. Have a look. D276714 then turns to face this passage. It appears to go off to a seemingly endless point, disappearing into atmospheric haze. All surfaces throughout match the color of SCP-2767. The subject is encouraged to proceed down the passage. D276714. Okay, so seems endless, but sure, if you say so. Subject continues to follow passage for 30 minutes before it appears that it is beginning to narrow. Subject turns sideways after encouragement and is now only capable of shuffling sideways. Camera is pressed directly against wall and now longer shows. That's another typo in this file, guys. Camera is pressed directly against wall and no longer shows any relevant footage. However, testing room microphones no longer pick up vocalizations, and so camera is left on to record audio. 3 hours into exploration. D276714. Okay, I can barely move, and honestly, I'm starting to panic. Oh God, I can barely move, and Jesus, it smells now. Like paint, but like it's rotting. So chemical. Ugh, I want to turn back. I can't turn back. There's just a... Oh God, no. There's a wall right to my left. I can't turn back. Oh God. D276714 starts to show signs of a panic attack. Researchers issue encouragement that the exit is nearby and that a reward will be presented at the end. Subject is now crying and utters a muted agreement to continue. From security cameras, D276714 still appears frozen in the center of the testing chamber. D276714. This isn't right anymore. Soft whimpering. I don't want to go around the corner. Don't. Oh, I need to leave. Subject informs researchers that the passage now takes a sharp turn close to 90 degrees to the right. Subject, without encouragement, attempts to round corner and...
Redacted.
Proceeding motion from subject since rounding corner is filled with soft squelching and what appears to be the grinding and crunching of subject's bones. Subject's breathing becomes more labored. 6 hours into exploration. D276714. I can't stand it anymore. It all hurts. Hurts, all of it. The space is not here. Why is not here? I can smell myself. I'm in the walls. Get me out of it. I'm in the walls. Due to the 6-hour mark being the previous upper bound for anomalous manifestations, and there being no signs of an exit for D276714, an attempt was made to open testing chamber 8. However, the doors to both painted chambers 7 and 8 were unresponsive. Explosives were ruled out in case of damage to subject. The test was therefore allowed to continue. During the following 5 hours, subject is silent apart from the occasional whimper and pause to catch their breath and cry. Despite having no water or food, the sound of scraping along the walls suggests subject does not slow movement due to what should now be moderate dehydration and hunger. 12 hours into the exploration log, the scrapping noises now indicate that D276714 has slowed to around 10% of their previous speed. Subject begins to speak. D276714. It's happening. I'm home. No, not home is me. I'm home, honey. I'm home, honey. At 12 hours and 32 minutes in, security camera footage inside testing chamber 8 shows D276714 has started to phase out, becoming slightly transparent. Footage from the adjacent painted chamber 7 shows what appears to be a human form materializing at the center of the room at a rate equal to the phasing out of D276714. With the subject now becoming less material, audio picks up loud, agonized screaming from the subject, which does not cease until they are almost entirely immaterial in testing chamber. Testing chamber 7 shows an almost fully formed D2767 at the center of the room. However, their face is contorted into an exaggerated scream, arms spread outwards and showing clearly severe injuries through tears in uniform. Moments later, the subject appears to have fully materialized in testing chamber 7, leaving no trace in testing chamber 8. Doors to both chambers suddenly open, and subject collapses to the ground. Medical response finds subject unresponsive. Autopsy showed that all ribs had been
redacted
and were unrecoverable. Pelvis shattered in 5 places, forearm tendons snapped and bones broken, and skull caved in on right side. Death determined to have occurred 12 hours, 32 minutes into testing. Recovery Log 2767A. SCP-2767 was recovered on 14 following reports of the Orville family going missing in Illinois. Local police arrived at the Orville residence to find Alan Orville dead in the center of an upstairs room covered in bruises and bleeding from bone protrusions. Further investigation into the house resulted in an officer entering a closet in the house recently painted with what is now known to be SCP-2767, with a noose hanging from the ceiling. The officer immediately reported a feeling of tremendous unease and attempted to leave the closet, only to be trapped by the effects of SCP-2767. After 2 more officers encountered this effect, the Foundation was called and Class A amnestics administered to all affected. A journal was found in the living room of the house, written by Alan Orville beginning 12 and ending 1 week before recovery. For notable excerpts from this diary, see Addendum 27671. Whilst 12 cans of the paint were found, 4 were completely empty, whilst the other 8 were unopened. All property on the house was exhumed by the Foundation and tested for anomalous properties, thus revealing the existence of SCP-2767. The house has since been demolished and Alan Orville buried with his wife and child at Methodist Church Cemetery. Addendum 27671. The following are excerpts from the diary of Alan Orville. An average of 4 days spanned between each entry, and many were mundane or not of note, and thus have not been included. So the following are some of his diary entries. 05 12. Well, what do you know? 40 years in, and I finally found the girl of my dreams. Her name is Chris, and boy is she beautiful and kind. I can't say a bad thing about her. We've been seeing each other on the internet for 2 weeks, but today, at that nice Chinese restaurant round the corner, is where I knew that I'm gonna marry this woman. I'll surprise her soon, but I suppose I'm smart enough to give it a month. 08 12. Chris moved into my place today. She may be a bit younger than me, but she's mature as hell and didn't hesitate when I asked her to do it. I best start clearing out the rooms then and maybe do some pretty decorating for my pretty wife. 09 13. Well, damn it again. Chris is pregnant. Been a month, according to the doctor. I don't really know what to think. My own child. And it is mine. What a life I've got to live. Suppose it was a good idea to live as free as I did up to now. In 9 months, there'll be only 2 lives I care about. My wife's and my child's. Thank you, God. I didn't expect it, but I'll take it and love it all the same. 03 14. Not long now, and sweet little Robbie will be popping out of Chris. I've been clearing out the spare room upstairs. Got some nice stuff for it. A crib, some toys, nice soft carpet so he don't bump himself up crawling round. Chris made sure it's all matching too. Her favorite color is Prussian blue, so I got some tins of that from the city. Sure was hard to get hold of round here. I got enough to keep painting the whole house with it until Robbie leaves. I'll paint his room up this week so the Robbie won't have to breathe in no fumes. Leave plenty of time for it to dry. 05 14. Not much time to write, 'cause the baby is home today. He might not see how damn pretty he is. Has his mother to thank for that. But I'm still gonna tell him. I still gotta work to keep paying, though. I don't want to leave the two alone without me here, but can't exactly raise a child without a job, can you? Robbie'll learn that one day too, I hope. 05 14. Robbie is dead. Gosh. 05 14. I shouldn't have done any of this, should I? First little Robbie, now I lose Chris. It was all a mistake. The doctor said the baby had some kind of brain problem, trauma or some sort. Maybe if I was home. No, it happened in the night. We didn't hear crying, just woke up and he wasn't breathing no more. Chris sure cried though, but I didn't know how to do it myself. Doctor said she had a stroke from stress. I can't blame her though. No mother should see her child die, and no man should see his wife and baby die. This is it then. I've got everything set up in the closet, and I've tidied the house up too. So when I come back as a ghost, we'll all be able to live here comfortably in the afterlife. I hope. I hope Chris can see the Prussian blue I've painted in the closet. I hope it helps me think of her when I die. And that's the end of the file. So my evaluation, and well, I recommend that we could continue researching this as a potential weapon. It seems like that's what a lot of these artifacts might be good for. We could potentially use it almost clandestinely by giving the paint to builders or sneaking it in when a target was renovating. They might use it and essentially be moving the weapon that would take them out into their home or office on their own. I think that there seem to be some odd transportation effects or teleportation effects when the two rooms had the paint, although the subject was ultimately killed after being transported. That could potentially be used to move the body of the target to another location if the target would have any value in its body or DNA being recovered. So I think we could still look a little further into some of the testing with this, and it may have some weapons applications. I guess that's the end of my excuse me. That's the end of Agent 748070's evaluation of SCP-2767.